stands out about Tim Patrick, and why is it important to kind of have different body types throughout the receiver room?
Yeah, I think that the thing that stood out for us of Tim was a guy that had really gone through a ton throughout his career to come in last year and step up for the Lions in a big way. You know, had about 400-some yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. But it's what he does without the ball that is really cool to watch. His sense of urgency, physicality, a guy that, it kind of is the word tough that comes to mind. It's pretty obvious, both mentally and physically. So that was kind of what went into that decision, was getting another, a bigger type body guy that can give us quality snaps, and a guy that can, he's played a lot of football in the NFL. He's had a lot of success, and he brings another, veteran maturity coming from a successful organization, and has had a lot of personal perseverance in the last few years to get where he's at.
There's a lot of young guys in the receiver room. How much value can he bring just from that veteran presence?
Yeah, huge. I mean, how much that he's been able to see throughout his time in the NFL, coming from working with those guys with Amon-Ra and J-Mo and those guys in Detroit, and what the stories he told me about Amon-Ra and how he practiced and how he did things was pretty cool to hear. And if some of that can continue to rub off on our guys, that's only a positive. That's only a good thing. So it's great to have Tim with us.
Is it planning for him to play a lot on special teams or no?
On special teams, I'd have to talk to Heath. I don't know if that's necessarily why that's not why he's here. Right. Yeah. But he may have to back up a couple positions or something like that.
You're down to 53 now. Just in terms of the roster, how do you feel about the overall shape of it and just where you guys are at as a team week one's coming?
You feel solid about it. We've talked about this a few times. It's always being evaluated, and the way that you're continuing to find ways to create an edge or fill a hole or upgrade. I mean, those things do occur throughout, but, proud of the guys that made it for sure, and really happy to have some of the guys on practice squad that we were able to keep, because that, we all know that show team is such a huge, important part of this thing. So, pleased with it. We have a lot of work to do.
How would you evaluate the defensive line, the decision to keep a couple extra edges, and the story of Danny and BJ?
Yeah, so the ability that, with both Agba and Smoot, give us the ability to reduce a little bit. So you can go a little heavier on the edge because those guys can reduce down and play a little bit of, 4-eye, a little 3 technique if you need so. And obviously Trayvon does that as well. So that's kind of the reason for a little bit heavier on the edge. And then BJ and Striga both earned it. I mean, they earned it throughout their performances since they got here, continuing to improve. And then especially once we got the pads on, you were able to see both of those guys, specifically BJ, show up in the pressures and in the relentless play and the way that he kind of goes about it. So, pleased with, 2 undrafted free agents make your 53, and, we're gonna need them at some point. But also, they will do a phenomenal job giving our offensive line a look every week, because they're relentless, the way they practice, the way they compete. All of that kind of goes into it as well.
Have you done captains yet, or no?
Not yet. Next Monday, I believe. Monday.
Is it a player vote, or do you?
Yeah, it's a combination. They vote, and you take that all into consideration, and you sit down with the staff and decide, what's the best for the team. So we'll announce that. We voted today. I have the data now to go look at and talk to the staff about, and we'll make that decision. We'll announce on Monday.
If you think back to kind of the early parts of spring, where's the biggest growth from Trevor to this point?
I think with the exception of today, was taking care of the football. Like in the spring, there was a little bit more maybe errant, maybe misses, and a little bit more it was daily almost in some ways, where you're getting used to the scheme, you're getting used to your footwork, you're getting used to new receivers, and so it's not as clean. It's still not where it needs to be, which is the beautiful part. I mean, it shouldn't be. We don't expect it to be that way right now. But for the most part, just taking care of the football is a huge thing. And if we can run the football more effectively, obviously create more turnovers defensively, and be able to take care of the football. You're not beating yourself. And so I think from a ball security standpoint, I've seen some growth there. Is he going to throw a pick here and there and practice? Like, it's going to happen. But it hasn't been as much at all since the spring.
Coming in, was that something that you were concerned about, just looking at his film?
It wasn't more that it looked like it was a guy that was, at times trying to do too much. Like, man, the run game's not really hitting here, and every throw becomes a little bit more magnified when maybe you don't have balance. And so I think it was a matter of you don't have to, like, every throw is not going to make or break the game. Like, we got to take care of the football. We want to be efficient and accurate in the pass game, but we have to know when to throw the thing away, know when to maybe eat it and have to take a sack, which we never want to really do, but it's better than giving them the ball. If you end every drive with a kick, usually you'll be okay. I mean, obviously you don't want too many of those to be punts, but the biggest theme for us has been not beating ourselves, because before we can really start to beat other teams, we cannot beat ourselves, and that has been an issue here.
That plan that you put together for Travis and getting him ready to go both sides and split in certain practice, would you call it a success even if you've taken out obviously the practice he missed because of
Yeah, that was a bummer to not have him for, what's it been, 10 days or so? Maybe a little bit more. So that's obviously a bummer to lose that time, because it was doing this for sure. But I think from a scheduling standpoint, I do think that it's been a success. I mean, he still wants more, which is good, but he's got to also hone in on the details and get back to that after being away for 10 days. So, but I do believe it's a success. I think we'll have a good AAR about it after to really look at, all right, was that the best plan? How do we look at it for next off season, and how does that look like for next training camp? Maybe now is not the time to have that, but that's what we will do, and kind of reevaluate how he handles a game plan on both sides of the ball, because so much of it's going to be training camp plays, right? You want to go out and execute what you do best in the first game, because you don't have truly any scout tape on what they are right now.
Can Ransom still get something out of his rookie year, just being in meetings, being around the guys?
He has to. I mean, those guys have to stay, and it's really difficult when you're hurt and it's going to be a tough go. So you've got to, and he's the type of guy that will handle it the right way. He's had injuries in the past. He's been hurt before. He's been able to stay locked in and come back from that. So I have the confidence in him that he'll be in there doing the right things. The guy, I remember hearing a story when he had surgery at Tulane. He was waiting to get surgery, and he just had surgery, and he had his iPad with him, and he had the video guy download all of the best nickels in the NFL, and he was watching all their tape while he was, out of post-op. So he's got that right mindset, and he has to take advantage of it.
This is a little off topic, but are you tush-push guy or no?
Oh, man. I do believe in quarterback sneaks, and we do have a push variation, so obviously the rule is what it is, so you do need to probably take advantage of it at times. We do have a bigger quarterback that can get a couple yards, you hope, or a yard or two. So we do have that in our scheme. It's hard to simulate it out here in these settings, but we do have it, especially if you need it based on maybe it's a backed up, you're on the 1 yard line or 1 inch line, and you need to go out and get it there. And we'll look at it. Last year, I think I don't know what we were in short yardage in the NFL, but I think it was good. It was just we didn't do a ton of Q sneaks because Baker was not the biggest, even though he'd probably bust my chops for saying that. But he can get them too, though. So it'll be a part of this game.
Back to Caleb, was that story you shared? He had surgery at Tulane.
Yeah, I think it was surgery at Tulane or something when he had an injury at some point in his career, and that's right. It was during college. No. It was during college, and he was really starting to get ahead and just look at how he could improve his game by watching NFL players do it. So he's got that makeup, and I'm very good friends with his college coach, John Summerall, and the way he's always spoken about him has always been pretty consistent with what we've seen so far.
And back to Travis, in terms of workload in practice, what is your expectation? Obviously, not to give away game plan, but in terms of how you manage him now week to week.
It'll be very similar to where, based on how we do it, because the one offense goes and then the one defense goes separate. So that's kind of, you can get him in on both of those based on the rep count and if he's in with whichever group, whether it's the first or the second group to get reps. It's about maximizing, especially now because those reps trim down in the course of a practice. So we're not going to get maybe those 40, 50 reps in each practice that we've been kind of consistently getting throughout training camp. So we have to maximize exactly before every practice, EB and Milo are going to have to go through each and every play and highlight which ones he specifically needs to get so that we're very intentional about his reps. All right, a day one install that we've run 4, 5, 50 times now or whatever it is, he doesn't probably need that rep on a Wednesday. Let's make the most of his reps and make sure that he's getting the quality work that he needs.
It's been a long off season, but personally, how excited are you to finally get to the starting line?
Yeah, it's really cool. You take the job and so much has kind of occurred since, but you haven't been able to play a game yet. And that's ultimately what we are judged by, right, is wins and losses at the end of the day. But you're really more excited to see these guys go play. And, win or loss, you want to just see, okay, what's our resiliency like? What is our response like? Get guys in games, and typically, you see one thing or the other, right? There's guys that will impress us that we might not have seen yet. I mean, that's just game day. Anything can happen. So I'm just excited to see these guys go out and play with joy, with urgent enjoyment, and go play with each other, and see how they respond to adversity, how we all respond to adversity.
When you look at the run game, trying to find balance this year, do you feel like you're making progress towards being that type of balanced offense that can help the quarterback out?
We're making progress. It's so hard to truly judge it going into week one because you've only had the one joint and then the few preseason reps that you get with the first group. But I think if you look at the entirety of it throughout training camp, the physicality in which I think we practiced for the majority of the time when we would go, I do believe was showing progress throughout that time. And then you look at some of the preseason ops, even with maybe the second and third groups in there, being able to be physical in the run game and finish people and the backs doing some different things. So are we there yet? It's hard to say. We didn't get good in the run game in Tampa really until after week 4 last year, where I think we rushed for about 90 yards, almost 100 yards week 1. We rushed for 40 yards week 2 against the Lions. I mean, we weren't really moving it, running the football at all. And it was getting better. You could see it kind of trending. But after week 4, we kind of made a tweak and started doing a few things differently, and it kind of took off. So ultimately, it may take a few games to truly see what that evolution is, because running the football takes all 11. It takes all 11, whereas a pass play, yes, it takes all 11, but sometimes you just need the protection to work, the quarterback to throw it to the guy, and him to catch it, right? You need everybody to be at the right spot to the right time and execute their routes and the concepts exactly right. The run game, it takes a little bit more detail and all 11 being involved.
I did love how college football used to be. So, not to be one of those guys. It was all exactly. No. I think just whatever it is, what it is. I mean, I'm happy for the guys that are getting money. I think that's great, especially for you look at some people that their NFL careers don't pan out the way some people think. You just never know. And there's guys that have opportunities to make a lot of money in college and then don't end up making that money in the NFL. So it's great for those situations. I do think there is something special about college and not being professional and all those things. It's a great experience, but who knows? I'm sure these kids are having fun. And NIL stuff.
Leave a bag of money at your front door?
No. Oh, thank you, man. No, I didn't get the brown paper bag, as some people would call it, but
What kind of rapport have you tried to establish with Leon being the play caller during this training camp?
Just constant communication throughout practice. Obviously, there's a lot of breaks between series and all that stuff where we can catch up on some plays, or even right after a play, he'll kind of give me his feedback on what he's thinking, what he sees. So all that stuff I've just been taking in for the last, really, 4 months or 5 months, whatever it's been since the spring. So that's been great. I'd say too, like in the meeting rooms and now game planning, like that's a big part of it. Week to week, it's going to change, and we have such a good staff that does a great job of breaking down, whether it's defenses, our scheme, our plan, why we're doing things a certain way. And I think just talking with Liam throughout the week and making sure once we step on the field Sunday, we're just in lockstep as far as what he's seeing, why he's calling certain things. Obviously, it's my job to get the ball to the right guy, and that coverage has changed, so it's not always going to go to who you're setting the play up for. But there's a ton of options out there, so I got to play the play out. But knowing what he's thinking, why he's calling certain things is certainly valuable, and we want to be on the same page, and I feel like we're on a great trajectory on that. But it's week to week. You got to continue to communicate.
I guess it was yesterday, but that first day we walk out and it's the 53. Smaller practice. Different feeling?
Way different feeling. It's always one of the weirdest days of the year. You've had these guys around since spring, and you've kind of built those relationships. You're used to having a full locker room, full practice field. And then all through training camp, guys are competing, guys are trying to earn roster spots. You're just building your team. And it's just a weird reality of this, that not everyone's going to make it along for the whole way. And that's the tough part about it is, you have friends that come and go, guys you build relationships with that have done a great job, that have worked hard, that try to earn a spot, and it just doesn't work out. And so that's always the hardest part. But, for our team, for the guys it is, the 53 plus the practice squad, those guys are on this team as well. They're a huge part of it. So this is the group we have, and I'm really pumped about it. But it is the tough part of the business is, you see guys come and go a lot.
But you also know it's go time.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. And then that's also the same time we transition out of camp and we start kind of supplementing like some of the Carolina stuff, and you're getting ready for week 1, start the game plan. So you start to narrow in your scheme a little bit, because in training camp everything's an option. The whole playbook's in, because you're trying just to get everything in and run it. But now it's more focused on the defense we're going to see and what we want to run against it.
Looked like a good day with BT. Are you seeing him kind of sharpen up as the opener gets closer?
Yeah, I think, it's just a testament to the amount of work that he's been putting in. And out here on the practice field, and you guys seen every practice, so you guys have a good perspective on just the whole thing. It's not every day is going to be clean and perfect, and just because whether it's me, BT, Travis, group up front, tight ends, whatever it is, there's going to be days where you have stuff you got to figure out, and there's a new system, there's new plays you're running. And so there's been some stuff that me and BT have kind of had to iron out, but just through reps, whether that's after practice, in the film room, talking about every single look, I really think we've taken some huge steps because we tried to do this last year, and obviously it was a different system. I get hurt, so we didn't get a full year, and then now it's a new system, and trying to build that chemistry and the rapport again, and it's been awesome. I like where we're at right now, but it's about the whole season getting better. It's not about just where you're at week 1. We got a long year.
Do you guys have a LSU Clemson friendly wager?
That's a great point. No, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, actually. So it's a terrible point, actually. I'm going to talk to him about it. I haven't talked to him about the game. I'm sure he'll be watching.
Trevor, where's the culture change come from, or the culture building come from for this year's team? And isn't that very important with so many new guys?
It's really important. I think obviously the energy that Coach Coen's brought in, and the whole staff, the coaching, the just level of detail, all the things that they've done up until this point has been awesome, and they brought a lot of energy every day and coached us hard, and the expectations have been really high, which has been good for our team. I think we've grown a lot, but ultimately it has to be from the players. Until you really own it from a player standpoint and push each other, that's really where the difference is. And I think we've taken some big steps in that. We have some more work to do, but I really like even the new guys we brought in from different places, just like Hainsey, Jordan Lewis, just to name a couple, Eric Murray, a bunch of other guys could be named too. But those guys, we brought in good players, really good players, but really good leaders too that handle their business the right way.
And that was part of it, right? They brought those guys in, and part of the reason they brought them in is because of the guys that they are, right?
Yeah, that's a huge part of this. You got to be able to perform on the field, right? That's our job. You got to be able to produce, but who you are in the locker room and the example you set for the younger guys, especially when we have a younger team, That's important. And when you have a guy that leads the room, that's not a guy that, whatever it is on a team, whether it's complaining, negativity, that stuff like festers in a team and it grows. And I think we've had a good group of leaders that have been super positive this camp, so it's been great.
If we think back to the spring to now, where do you think your biggest area of growth has been?
I think just there's a lot of things with my footwork that I wanted to work on. I've seen some growth with that. That's still something, like I've said since the beginning, you got to continue to work every day. That's a big part of it. I think just my eyes, progressions, really mastering the offense as far as all the checks, all the protection changes. I really like the growth that we've honestly had since the spring, and not just myself, but the group, because it takes all 11 of us. It's the group up front, it's me, it's the back, especially in protections. You know, if I know it, but I can't communicate, it doesn't do any good. So all of us working together have taken some big steps.
What kind of asset can Patrick in 6 months?
Yeah, obviously he has the size, he has experience, he's played a lot of meaningful football, made a lot of big plays. I think just having a guy that's older in the room, a veteran presence, that's valuable. But yeah, as far as the receiving type, something that we don't really have, the big body, rangy guy. So I think that's valuable for us, just to continue to make that room better and better. And we got some really good ones, and he's just another addition that's going to help us for sure.
With training camp now in the rear view, how would you evaluate Travis and the process of him playing both positions up to this point?
Yeah, I love that song. That was awesome. It's great. Just unfazed. It's just Gene's ghost. All right. Anyways, I gotta focus back in. Travis. Yeah, it's been impressive, like we've said since the beginning, to see him go both ways. And then, I miss Gene. Yeah, it's just to see the amount of work you have to put in to do that. It's hard enough to play one way in the NFL, much less 2 ways. I mean, to learn offense, defense, it's a lot. He's done a really good job, so I'm proud of him. Was it? Was it?
What's it like for you, though, like, you know, the fact that for 1 minute he's at wide receiver,
yeah,
throw him the next minute, he's opposite.
Just always trying to, you know, it's his responsibility to know what to do, and when he steps in the huddle, and he's done a great job of that, but also being conscious of he's a rookie, he's got a lot going on, he's playing both ways, trying to help him as much as I can with little reminders or different things with the formations or concepts or whatever, just trying to give him reminders so it's not, hey, you're on your own, pal, figure it out, you know, and he's done a good job of knowing it, but as much as we can help him out, I think that is important.
When you add a guy like him this close to week 1, what do you have to do to kind of build that chemistry and just get game ready with him?
Yeah, just get some throws. I think, you know, all the timing routes, that stuff that you can see and you don't have to throw it before they break, like certain routes, it's a little different. But the routes where you're throwing it early, anticipating, all those things, just got to get those throughout next week. You know, we'll have an extra practice on Monday, so we'll have some time to get some of those routes, and just going to get them throughout the week. And then for him, you know, obviously just has to put the time in this weekend, has some time to learn it. It's a big offense to learn over the weekend, but obviously I'm going to be there to help him anything he needs, and he's got my number now. We already linked up in the locker room, and excited to have him. So we'll get him up to speed. Obviously, we're gonna have him ready. If he goes on the field, he's gonna know what to do. He's gonna be ready, and he's a pro, so he knows how to handle all that.
Feeling excited and ready to finally get out there and actually play a meaningful game?
Super excited. Yeah, you kind of, training camp's exciting at first, and then after a couple weeks practicing against each other, you're like, all right, let's, you know, you're ready to get to a common opponent. Let's all come together as a team and go play somebody. So excited. Yeah, it's just, you know, I think just all the excitement about all the possibilities of a new year. It's a clean slate, and all starts next week. So, you know, obviously going to kind of reset, recharge this weekend, and be ready to go for week 1.
How has Brendan Strange grown over training camp?
He's been awesome. I think just mastering the system, knowing what to do. There's a learning curve for everyone in the spring, and I think the steps he's taken from the spring coming into training camp, you see him able to make so many plays just because he's playing fast. He knows what to do. He's a great matchup for us at tight end, and I'm excited for him. I think he's going to have a really big year, and he's another weapon that I think some people don't really ask enough about sometimes, because we have a lot of weapons on offense, a lot of guys that can play. So he's a guy that's really valuable to us, what he can do, run game, pass game, everything. He's a great player. Awesome. Thanks.